Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and this is Murder by Design. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. I really screwed up the whole thing. So I'm doing it all over again. Okay, well, let's try this again, take two. So today I'm going to be talking about a case where a teenager committed a horrific crime, and because of the circumstances in his life, he was given little more than a slap on the wrist. This allowed him to eventually go free and continue to slip through cracks in the legal system for a couple of years until he was arrested for another serious crime in 2014. In May 1999, the Desert News in Utah reported an 18-year-old Joseph Oberhansley and his preliminary hearing. They reported that on December 9th, 1998, Joseph, 17 at the time, went to the home of his grandmother, Norma Dodge, and opened fire in her living room. He shot several times at his 17-year-old ex-girlfriend, Sabrina Elder, who had given birth to his son just a few days earlier. When Joseph's mother, Brenda Self, attempted to help Sabrina, she was shot in the back and the arm. Joseph's teenage sister kept the newborn baby safe while her brother was shooting in the house. Norma Dodge, the grandmother, ran from the kitchen into the living room at this point, and she witnessed Joseph turn the gun on himself and pull the trigger. Sabrina Elder died, and Joseph and his mother survived. Joseph Oberhansley had a new girlfriend, Amanda Thomas, at the time of the shooting. Amanda testified about her relationship with Joseph. She said that they used drugs together regularly and that while they were high, Joseph would sometimes complain about his situation with Elder. He told Amanda that he was angry with her, he didn't believe the baby was his, and he was mad that Elder was staying with his family in his grandmother's home. He also had stated at times that he wanted to kill Elder, but Thomas said she didn't take it seriously, thinking it was the drugs talking. In 1997, Joseph's brother committed suicide, and a few days later, his father died under suspicious circumstances. During his preliminary hearing, Oberhansley's family testified about what happened during the shooting and the drug use and changes in his behavior after losing both his father and brother. His lawyer, Jan Jengich, also focused on his suffering, drug use, and the way he was affected by all of it, as well as the possibility that the bullet that remained in his head would leave him calmer and less aggressive. Wow. One of the interesting things here is that Oberhansley's mother had forgiven him for shooting her and was paying for his defense, and she and his grandmother really didn't want to cooperate with the investigation. Joseph Oberhansley was originally charged with first-degree murder, but the prosecutors ended up agreeing to a plea bargain because of the circumstances of Oberhansley with a bullet still lodged in his head. He pled guilty to manslaughter and attempted murder instead. The Desert News quoted defense attorney Yingit as saying, "This was not an intentional act. All of the stressors involved in Joseph's life at the time led up to this. It is likely that outside of those factors, this never would have happened." Okay. On March 13, 2000, 3rd District Judge Judith Atherton sentenced Oberhansley to 1 to 15 years in prison on each count to run concurrently instead of consecutively. She also ordered him to pay $4,000 in restitution and a $5,000 fine. Oberhansley expressed remorse and asked for forgiveness for what he had done, saying, "I'd give my life for hers. I will take responsibility for my acts, not only today, but every day until I die." But Sabrina Elder's grandfather, Alfred Ermer, didn't seem to believe a word Oberhansley said, stating that after the sentencing, he's going to get out in 5 to 7 years to do it again, and they didn't give us our day in court. Hey, Runs with Scissors, how are you today? After spending just 12 years in a Utah prison on July 12, 2012, Joseph Oberhansley was released on parole. WFPL.com reported that due to an interstate compact parole agreement, Oberhansley was able to relocate from Utah to Indiana to live with family while he was on parole. During the time he was on parole, he had several interactions with Indiana law enforcement. Court records show that in March 2013, he was charged with strangulation and resisting law enforcement. He was released on a $1,000 bond. In May 2013, he was convicted of speeding. A year later, he was charged with driving with a suspended license, and that charge was later dismissed. In July 2014, he was charged with criminal recklessness committed with a deadly weapon and resisting law enforcement. He was released that time on a $500 cash bond. So obviously, he has a clear pattern of behavior here, and it's basically going relatively unpunished. I mean, for the amount of time that he spent in jail for the first things is absolutely nothing. And I do agree with the father that, that this is something that he was going to continue to do. I don't see remorse here. So it's been said that none of these arrests or convictions were reported to the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole. However, authorities in Indiana deny this and say that they reported everything on Oberhansley's arrest and convictions to Utah. Regardless of where the blame should fall, Joseph Oberhansley was a free man. He had been dating a woman named Tammy Jo Blanton, who was 46 years old. People.com reported that on the night of September 10th, 2014, Blanton had spoken to her friend Tessa Shepard on the phone. According to Shepard, Blanton told her that she had broken up with Joseph Oberhansley and changed her locks. Shepard also said that Blanton had confided in her that the weekend before, Oberhansley had repeatedly raped her. At 3 a.m. on September 11, 2014, Tammy Jo Blanton called 911 because Oberhansley was banging on her door and wouldn't leave. Police arrived and made Oberhansley leave. At some point, he returned. When police arrived the next morning, responding to a call for a welfare check on, was outside, and according to officers, he was nervous and refused to let him they refused to let them pat him down. They eventually found a bloody knife in his pocket. When they entered Blanton's home, they found signs of forced entry and a trail of blood. That trail led to the bathroom where Tammy's mutilated body was found in the bathtub. She had been raped and stabbed at least 25 times. It alleged that Oberhansley used an electric saw to dismember her. Clark County Prosecutor Jeremy Mole would later describe the scene as worse than anything you'd see in a horror movie. Hi, Amanda. How are you? He also told People.com that Oberhansley allegedly confessed to cooking and eating parts of Blanton's heart, lungs, and brain. Her blood was found on a jigsaw, frying pan, tongs, nail clippers, and a knife. Joseph Oberhansley was arrested on the morning of September 11, 2014, and charged with murder, burglary, and rape. Oberhansley was deemed incompetent to stand trial in 2017, but that decision was reversed in 2018 and his trial began in 2019. Clark County Circuit Judge Vicki Carmichael had ruled that Oberhansley's previous time in prison and history of drug use was inadmissible at trial. But the third witness called by the prosecution, Blanton's friends Donna Victoria, took the stand and spoke about both. This led to Judge Carmichael declaring a mistrial. On September 11, 2020, exactly 6 years after Tammy Jo Blanton was murdered, his new trial began. During this trial, Oberhansley took the stand in his own defense and changed his original story, claiming that two black guys had been in Blanton's home when he arrived that night. They knocked him out and they murdered Tammy Jo. The jury obviously didn't buy most of it because Crime Online reported that on Friday, September 18th, Oberhansley was found guilty of murder and burglary, but he was acquitted on the rape charge. Oberhansley's lawyer claimed his client suffers from mental illness and asked for a lesser sentence. During the sentencing hearing, a psychiatrist testified to finding bizarre behavior in Oberhansley in 2014. He said that Oberhansley exhibited signs of mental illness, hallucinations, and extreme weight loss, which improved after he took prescribed medication. Two court-appointed physicians also evaluated Oberhansley and found no signs of insanity. Joseph Oberhansley was facing life in prison without parole, and his sentence began on Monday, September 24th.
21st. According to newsandtribune.com, the purpose of this hearing is for attorneys to make their case to the jury regarding any mitigating or aggravating factors in the case. On Monday night, wave3.com reported that the jury that convicted Joseph Oberhansley recommended a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. What a crazy little story. I definitely do think that this is a time where maybe mental illness really is playing a part in this. I don't know that this is a made up kind of thing like a lot of people do. Obviously, he doesn't seem to be in his right mind, although one can argue that anyone that takes a life isn't in their right mind. But in this case, I definitely think this man is suffering from some sort of mental condition, possibly caused by drug abuse. I don't know. I mean, this is some crazy stuff. I can't believe he's accused of eating her body parts. It's crazy. I also think it's interesting that he was still there in the morning, like he was waiting for them. Like maybe he wanted to not be like this anymore, and so he was waiting. I mean, I just don't understand. And then he changes his story later. What do you guys think of this case? Have you been following it? Do you know anything about it? It's concluding now because the sentencing phase has happened and all that. But I don't know. It's just, that's a crazy story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I will be back today at 2:00 with my, or no, I'm sorry, it is 2:00. I'll be back today at 4 with my 5 at 4. You may hear our secret word of the week, so you might want to tune in over on our Facebook channel. It's facebook.com/MBD, MB as in boy, D as in dog, MBD True Crime. So I'll be doing that at 5 at 4. I'm going to be talking about a serial killer who left a boot print on a victim, and it helped lead to his capture. Anyway, guys, and Colleen, unfortunately, will not be here this week with the This Day in True Crime. She is dealing with some family stuff. And so she will be here for the live tonight, but she just won't be able to do her This Day in True Crimes this week. So and please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Have a wonderful day, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.